watching the Crypto Market Update with your host, Chris Marshall, your home for the latest crypto news, reviews, and updates that can be found around the block. If this is your first time here, then we would like to thank you for watching. If you enjoy the show, please like, subscribe, and share with anyone that you believe needs this type of content in their life. Just a reminder, anything discussed on this show is for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. With that out of the way, let's get on with the show.
Welcome to today's crypto market forecast, where we take a look at a couple events that may be happening around in the coming week that may have an effect on your crypto market. I'm your host, Chris Marshall. In today's crypto market forecast, there's actually very few events coming up this week, but what we are going to take a look at is the current state of the market and a couple things to watch out for, and why the market is what it is this week, and kind of the events that are leading up to it. So with that, let's take a look at our sponsor, OTEC, Ocala's Blockchain, Crypto, and Technology Innovation Council. They have meetups quite often. They are changing up how their meetings are structured. Starting this next month in May, they are going to be doing some seminar, college-style lectures on crypto and to educate the public here in Ocala. If you are into that type of stuff, or you're into crypto or technology at all and you're in the Ocala area, look them up at www.facebook.com/Ocala Tech Council and learn more. I believe there's also a link down below. With that, let's go ahead and dive into the crypto market and what they are doing today. Currently, we are sitting at 19,000 cryptos on CoinMarketCap. Finally broke over that 19,000. So that puts us at about, a little over 100 in the last 2 weeks. I didn't do a show on Friday. I had car troubles, a flat tire, and so I was sitting at the dealership waiting for a new tire on Friday afternoon. And between that and a wedding and all sorts of stuff, just could not get over here to do a show. Let's see, the market cap was sitting just under $1.8 trillion, 82,000 24-hour volume, dominance of Bitcoin at 41.2%, and ETH dominance at 19.2%. ETH gas is all the way down below 40 way today. Very interesting. Most of the cryptos in the top 100 are quite down for the day and for the week. A few exceptions, a couple altcoins, and ApeCoin is surprisingly up today quite a bit. I believe that's on some news that they had towards the end of last week. There must have been something today since it was up 7% today alone, but nothing too crazy that I think. I mean, it's nothing to draw me into it. Thorchain is up today, and most everything else is pretty much down. A couple other things doing okay, but for the most part, pretty bloody market today and on the 7-day as well. And we can see that with the Crypto Fear and Greed Index being all the way down at a 23 today. Yesterday was at a 24 in extreme fear. Last week overall was a 24 in extreme fear. Last month we were neutral at a 51. And if you don't know, or you aren't familiar with the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, basically it's an indicator that some people use as a time to tell them when to buy and when to sell, or at least it could indicate a good time to buy or sell when the entire market is fearful and trying to get out of crypto. That might be a good time to buy in, and like on the inverse, when the market is extremely greedful, that might be a good time to be exiting the market. So let's move on over to our charts and talk about what's going on today. If you've been watching this stream or listening to what I have to say on TikTok and stuff over the last multiple weeks, you'll know that we've been watching a correlation between Ethereum and Bitcoin play out. The Ethereum correlation is playing out like I thought, about a month and a half behind, but we are lagging a little bit where I thought we would be at. So let's take a look at this. And we are still within our normal parameters for this parallel channel to the upside. So what I'm looking at now, we'll talk about that here. But let's see here. First off, what I wanted to see is where was this first bottom at after it broke out of this downward channel. It's about February 24th. So a month and a half later would put us at March, April, about beginning to mid April, which is already passed. We're already at the end of April, so we're about 2 months behind now. That's not what I wanted. I'm going to go over to the Ethereum chart. And we are still not to the bottom after our first breakout. So we're looking at, we need to be all the way down here in this 25 to 26 range already, and we are not quite there. So I think the correlation between what Bitcoin and Ethereum was doing is kind of over now, and unless we're looking at potentially this entire thing here being counted as a bottom, which would put us all the way at the mid-March time frame, which could put us at the mid-April for a touch of the bottom, which is completely doable. I think somewhere around in here, seeing about $2,600 for Ethereum, I believe that's possible. So what we are watching here, let's start on Bitcoin as we kind of look at the price here. So what we saw was we broke below this overall channel, and this line here is not exactly even with it, but if we kind of take a look here, you kind of see that we had this other level of support within this parallel channel, and everything, sometimes it would wick down below it and then come back up. And so what we had just a few days ago on the 18th was it wicked down and then came back up above it. We thought that was going to work. Typically you see action like that on the center line support here of this channel, and it's been going down below it and this is acting like a second center line, which is a little strange. Hey, how's it going, Crypto Cafard? Not sure if that's how you say your name, but hello. Anyway, so what I've been waiting for is another touch of the bottom line of this parallel channel, this upward parallel channel. And so we are on our way to it. The one thing that I think is going to happen between there and here is I would expect it to happen in the next day or two, if it was going to happen, just by how close Bitcoin is to the bottom of its parallel channel here. Unless we have a actual breakthrough this bottom line here, and we end up retesting this overall channel that we've been watching for quite a few months, for quite a while, almost a year. I think we've been in this channel now, over a year. We've been in this channel, January of 21. So what we could see is something like this. Bitcoin breaks below the bottom of our parallel channel that we're currently in, and it falls to the bottom of this overall parallel channel, which I would expect to happen simply because after a big downward movement here and this parallel channel here, this is called the bear flag pattern that we've been watching over the course of quite a few months, since the beginning of November last year is when this started playing out, which would tell me that after we hit the top of this parallel channel, we would break through the bottom line and we would have a new leg down. Now it could be a short, it could be small, or short, it could be a long downward channel. It could never actually get confirmed, which means it doesn't actually play out a bear flag pattern and instead moves into something else. So what we might see is it come down, hit the bottom of this parallel channel, and at that time frame is when we would see Ethereum hitting the bottom of its current parallel channel, because there's a lot more room within Ethereum's current parallel channel than there is in Bitcoin's parallel channel. I mean, we're talking from where we're currently at to about $2,600. That's almost 9%, 8.5% down. That's quite a bit to fall. If Bitcoin is only falling, what would Bitcoin be falling to hit the bottom of its current parallel channel? Talking only 3%. So that's quite a bit of a difference. Usually Ethereum does move down a little bit lower, but not 3 times lower than what Bitcoin is doing. So what is the current from Bitcoin to the bottom of its current channel? It's about 11% to hit the bottom of the channel currently. So there's a couple things that may play out. I think we're still within good parameters. I'm not really doing anything with my market. I'm not shorting. I'm not buying anything yet. What I'm currently waiting for is to see what happens when we hit the bottom of this parallel channel, which I do believe we're going to see. So Ethereum, we're going to see somewhere around 2,600 within the coming days. And Bitcoin within the next few days, I think we're going to see about 37.7 is kind of my guess. And then from there, that's what I'm going to be looking out for. Now, why is Bitcoin and Ethereum doing this currently? Why are we in this? So, and why do they have such a dramatic fall today and fall through this temporary, let's call it a temporary support? Why did it do this? Basically, what we have is the Fed next week has the FOMC meeting in which they are likely going to put out a 50 basis point increase. Let's go to that one first. So yeah, he clearly stated that the central bank is looking to hike interest rates by 50 basis points at the next Fed policy meeting, which is on May 4th, next week, next Monday, at 2 p.m., I believe. And so if we see what I think is happening right now is the market is adjusting to this this potential 50 basis points move. Market has taken a hit with the regulations. Yes, it has. Yeah. We are also going to talk about the regulations here in just a minute. But yeah, I think the major move today and why it moved down is because the market is pricing in this 50 basis points move from next week. So what I would see is as long as next week when that FOMC meeting comes and they do only a 50 basis points move and they don't do something like a 75% or God forbid 100 or something crazier, I think what we'll see is that might be a good bottom and a potential recovery from there, which again we would be looking at staying within this parallel channel. If we had dropped below this, I would see that Wednesday meetup coinciding with potentially the bottom of this overall channel that's been going on since January of 21. In which case we might see a bottom for Bitcoin around 35. I mean, it's somewhere around there, 34.5, give or take $500, somewhere around in there. So that's what I think we're seeing in the market currently. I wanted to read some of this here. Basically, that's what these guys are saying too. I'm not actually going to read all this. That's what they think is going on. Analytics Insight. Took a look at this here. Yeah, not going to read any more of that. I took a look at that. One thing I wanted to take a look at is something that could happen at any time. This is kind of important for what could happen. Is we have another large capital asset management firm that is looking to add more to the markets. So Skybridge Capital, they're incredibly bullish on the market. So what I see is all these other management firms, all these capital funds, what they're looking for is the bottom. And this may be a great time to potentially purchase. If the actual meeting does only get a 50 basis points move, then and we bottom out at somewhere around here, what we could easily see is all of the firms who have already stated we're putting, the UST Treasury Fund, Skybridge, Michael Saylor, everybody who's got money and is buying Bitcoin. We could see easily a large amount of buying activity in the market next week on Wednesday if we get that only at 50 basis points, or if we get just at 25 basis points, that would be even better. But until then, what I see is just a slow trickle down. So I'm not doing anything till I get confirmation on something. What I would hate to see is to buy here around this 37.5 level at the bottom of this current parallel channel, and they end up hiking interest rates by 75 basis points or something like that, and we fall even lower. So if you follow a like 25, 25, 50 trading pattern or something like that, a good time, the first 25% of your portfolio that you want to put into a specific coin, a good time to purchase your first 25% might be when it touches this bottom line, and wait to see if it falls below to buy another 25%. That could be a good idea as well, but I will leave that up to you. With that, that is basically it. That's the major thing that we're going to be looking out for is this, which is next week. So I'll be talking about this again next Monday. Other than that, there's not really anything going on this week that will have an exceptional effect on the crypto market. Nothing that we can see on the horizon, that is. So we never know about those icebergs that pop up throughout the week. And that's what the Friday show is about, Friday afternoon. If the price goes down to 36,000, I buy. That's a very good price. Let's see what 35 to 36,000 will look like. That's still within the overall channel. So if it goes down to the bottom of this channel, I definitely will be buying more for my own personal portfolio. But yes, that's a good time. So just to show you here, we've been in this upward channel for quite a while. So about a year and a half. And if you use something like the logarithmic, these here, we're in a healthy trend upwards. I can't remember which one it was, but I think it's the logarithmic chart. It's something I don't ever use, so I never really look at it. But basically, it doesn't look so dramatic on here. I know some people who really like those charts. Whatever, it's not important. We're in a good place, I think. We're at the bottom of a channel. Those are the channels that I majorly watch. I don't do any of the crazy fancy stuff. I'm still waiting for the fanciest thing I really do is watch for crosses of the 200 MA and the 200 EMA. But I only watch that on the 4-hour time frame to know what's going to happen on the daily. So what I wait for is I look to see where yellow on the 4-hour crosses the 200 EMA, crosses above the 200-day moving average. When that kind of happens, we have in my opinion, a good swing trade opportunity. So I'll buy some and let it sit for a few days as it goes up. And then typically you just kind of watch some of your other indicators, like your parallel channels, to know when to sell. So there's a couple things that I mesh together, but overall it's just parallel channels. That's the main thing that I look for. Wherever we see nice support and resistances, if there was a previous actual dollar support line that happens to intersect the parallel channel, that could also be a great support or resistance line. So when you have your 40,000s, your 30,000s, those major emotional and psychological support levels and resistance levels. When those intersect, those can be very, very hard to break through. So right now we just have a $40,000 level that we may sit below, but it's not that strong because we've been above it for a long time. I don't really think this is too much of a resistance anymore. I'd probably hide this if I didn't want to sit there and find it again later on. But yeah, this $40,000 level doesn't really matter right now. The one that I would think matter is potentially this 52,000. So if we hit this super long-term projection, if we stay within this parallel channel and we don't break below it, and we end up coming back up, what I would be looking at is this 52,000. So this acted as resistance a few times in the history of Bitcoin. And what we would see is on our way up, if we were to hit somewhere around this area and we were going to hit $52,000 around this area, I would expect it to hit it and then fall back below that. I hit a button, my screen changed. I really hope I didn't delete some lines. I think I did. No, I just went to Ethereum. So when you have things like that, that could be a big indicator. So like this one here, what we saw was we came up this $45,000 level was a major resistance before, or was a support line before. It didn't want to fall below that back in December of last year. Didn't want to fall below that, so that was a good support level. And then it intersected with this parallel channel, and we saw that's where it decided to fall back below it. So those, when you get stuff like that, those are pretty good indicators whether or not we're going to be able to break through it. Typically when two lines like this intersect, that's going to be hard to break through. So anyways, that is it for today's show. Crypto Cafford, hope I'm saying that right. Thank you for watching. I am a new show, so if you have any suggestions of how I could improve the show, please let me know. So anyways, thanks for watching. I will see you all on Friday for the crypto market recap, where we go over the events that happened throughout this week and see what effect they had on the market, and do some adjusting in our strategies and stuff like that. See you around.